Yeah.
Well, hi, everyone. Good afternoon. And thanks so much for having me. My name is Jordan Bleeker. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director at Westminster. I have been with Westminster team for over 12 years now. And the goal of my job is to provide guidance and education on this life plan model, as well as to help prospective residents navigate their move to Westminster. So the presentation that I prepared for us today will provide you an overview of all of your senior living options. I'll outline the benefits of a life plan community like Westminster, and I'll explain kind of how we stack up against rental communities. As Austin's original life plan community, we know what a difference having a plan for the future can make. So during today's presentation, we're going to touch on all of the following. Your retirement living options, we'll discuss the top three. The role of life care services and their partnership with Westminster. We'll talk about the difference between for-profit and not-for-profit communities. Why Westminster? Here, I'll tell the Westminster story and what sets us apart from the rest. I'll share some information on recent awards and Westminster's credibility. We'll talk about the benefits of planning ahead. I'll discuss some available inventory and how you can plan for your next steps. And at the end of the presentation, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. So I've included this one. Yeah. I've included two statistics here that I kind of like for you to keep in mind as we're moving through this presentation. Okay. Did you know that 70% of people over the age of 65 will need some type of long-term care support? Did you know that your medical expenses will likely double between the ages of 70 to 90? Do you have a plan for the future? Are you financially prepared? Do you have your ducks in a row, right? That's really what I want to explore with you today. I want to make sure that you have a clear picture of all of your senior living options. So let's look at those top three senior living options. You can choose to stay in your home. You could move to a rental community, or you could move to a life plan community like Westminster. We're going to dive a little deeper into each option. So we at Westminster, we understand that folks want to stay in their home for as long as possible, right? But what does that realistically look like long-term? Well, you'll have continued upkeep of your home, yard maintenance, home repairs. Perhaps you'll need to make modifications to your home. Are there stairs in your house? Will a wheelchair fit through your doorway? All very important things to consider when you're choosing to stay at home. With your home comes property taxes and possible HOA fees. You won't be protected under the Westminster Shield, as we like to call it. Westminster has access to resources that help us protect and keep residents safe. This was extremely important during the pandemic, but we do provide day-to-day essentials in our on-site store. We have complimentary wellness checks for independent living residents. We have an on-site wellness clinic that's staffed with nurse practitioners, and we also have options for meal delivery and pickup. Staying in your home provides little socialization among your friends and your peers. This can become extremely isolating over time. If the time comes and you need in-home care, you'll be paying out of pocket for those expenses. This can become quite costly, not to mention the headache of having to schedule that care. Do you trust the caregiver and the company that they work for? What if the caregiver doesn't show up for their shift? Just again, important things to consider when you're choosing to stay at home. If you fall or get sick, there is no guaranteed access to higher levels of care. And when you stay in your home, it's all up to you. You'll continue to be responsible for cooking, cleaning, transportation, among many other things. So your second option for retirement is a rental community. Here, fees are based on a monthly lease program and will increase significantly as your healthcare needs change. Healthcare is often offered as an a la carte option and can be very limited in terms of availability and scope of care. Rental communities are typically for-profit, and we'll talk a little bit about the difference between for-profit and not-for-profit a little bit later in the presentation. In rental communities, long-term nursing care is not always available, and many rentals do not offer that all-important skilled nursing level of care. This means that in the event that your healthcare needs change, you will likely have to move again. This is never ideal to move twice, especially for an individual who may be health compromised. As you continue your senior living research, it's important to know which communities are rental communities. Several Brookdale communities here, Maravilla at the Domain, the Village at the Triangle, these are all examples of rentals that are right here in Central Austin. In fact, the bulk of senior living options are rentals here in Austin. So your third option for retirement is to move to a life plan community like Westminster. Westminster is a true type A life plan community. This means that we offer all levels of care on our campus. Life plan communities offer both a security and a financial advantage. Once you're at Westminster, you have the peace of mind of knowing that you'll never have to move again should your healthcare needs change. Westminster residents are guaranteed access to our higher levels of care with very little additional expense. Life plan communities like Westminster significantly reduce the worry about the affordability and the availability of long-term care in the future. Westminster is a true Austin original. We have been serving seniors here in Austin for 56 years. We are a standalone community, so we are not affiliated with any other chain retirement communities or any other Westminsters across the country. Westminster is a not-for-profit community. We are very financially stable with a high Fitch rating and over 1,300 days of cash on hand. I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the presentation. Life plan communities like Westminster also offer possible tax advantages as a percentage of your one-time entrance fee and your monthly service fee can be written off as a prepaid medical expense. Our voluntary board of directors is comprised of local business leaders. We also have a lot of resident representation on the board, which is so important. All of those residents are voting members. Westminster is managed by a third-party company called Life Care Services. They are headquartered in Des Moines, Iowa. They are absolutely an industry leader. They own and manage about 150 communities across the country. They have provided both operations and marketing support to Westminster for over 40 years. It's been such a great, long-lasting partnership. The Life Care Services mission has always been to enhance the resident experience. So I mentioned a few times through this presentation that Westminster is a not-for-profit community. Let's take a look at the difference between for-profit and not-for-profit when it comes to senior living. So in for-profit communities, as you can imagine, they are profit-driven, right? They're responsible to corporate investors and or shareholders who are interested in making money on their investment, not necessarily the needs of the residents. For-profit communities can sometimes be unstable because they're easily affected by economic fluctuations. In for-profit communities, there's not always a lot of community oversight. Instead they're overseen by corporate shareholders and investors. There can sometimes be inferior quality in for-profit communities because earnings is the barometer used to measure success, not quality of care, not resident satisfaction, it's earnings.
You use the word sometimes, right?
Sure, yeah.
Well, I mean.
Not every for-profit, right. In not-for-profit communities, they're very values driven. Caring for the needs of the residents is more important than increasing profits. All of our proceeds are reinvested back into the community to improve the grounds, staffing, and expanding services and amenities. Not-for-profit communities are stable as resident staff in the community enjoy the peace of mind because the organization is not as easily affected by economic fluctuations. We have a lot of community oversight at Westminster. A volunteer board of directors consisting of local business leaders help to ensure quality services and leadership. And then finally, quality is the barometer used to measure effective work in not-for-profit communities, not earnings. So after digesting some of this information, you may be asking yourself, why would I consider Westminster? So here you have access to a full continuum of care as you plan for your future. Westminster's Life Care benefit will protect you from a high financial burden of care costs in the future. We are 5-star rated, and we have been for the last 15 years. This is based on surveys conducted by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. We have all levels of care on our campus. So once you're at Westminster, you'll never have to find another community again, should your healthcare needs change. We have a fantastic on-site wellness clinic that's staffed with a team of nurse practitioners. We also offer complimentary wellness checks to our independent living residents, which is not typical. So if you woke up and you just weren't feeling well, you could come directly to our on-site clinic. Westminster provides countless opportunities to socialize in a setting that supports engagement and connection. Last year, we offered almost 17,000 activities campus-wide. This is easily 4 to 5 times more than any other community that we're aware of. We have a very diverse and flexible dining program. You can use your $90 however you want to at any of our 3 restaurants on campus. And at Westminster, residents are happy. We received a 95% resident satisfaction score during our last resident survey. Another reason to consider Westminster is our ultimate promise to our residents. We offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee, which is not common. This is for the first 12 months of residency. So residents who are not completely satisfied during that first year will receive 100% of their one-time entrance fee back to them. A couple of quick photos here. You can move through these. So we believe that Westminster is the gold standard. The awards in our trophy case speak volumes about the quality of services and the people who manage every aspect of our community. Some of our employees have been with our community for over 30 years. This is a testament to workplace satisfaction, and this has been felt in turn by the residents that live at Westminster. For the 10th year in a row, we have won the Top Workplace Award for Central Texas. Other awards include the JD Power Recognition, which was awarded to our management company, Life Care Services, for the highest customer satisfaction for 5 years in a row. We've also received the Best Assisted Living and Best Nursing Home Award from U.S. News and World Report for the last 7 years. We have an excellent credit rating and a Fitch score, and we're very transparent when it comes to our financials. We're a very financially healthy and stable community as well. That's something that we're very proud of. It offers peace of mind to residents that live there. Because we are a life plan community, we are required by the Texas Department of Insurance to provide, to fulfill certain requirements. So we're required to keep at least 180 days of cash on hand. Westminster currently has over 1,300 days of cash on hand. One of the benefits of this cash on hand of the cash on hand is this asset replacement fund that we developed back in 2014. With this program, we've been able to set aside approximately about $6 million to use for emergencies. So if we need a new roof, if one of the buses break down, if we need a new chiller, all of that has happened. We don't raise your monthly service fee just because these things need to be fixed. And finally, as I said, we have a long-standing history of financial success. We've been here in Austin and serving seniors for 56 years. So let's talk about the benefits of planning ahead. It's important for you to stay in control of the decision-making process while the decision is still yours to make. When you plan ahead, you have options and choices. Wouldn't you rather choose where you want to live versus having someone make that decision for you? Planning ahead gives you this opportunity. When you come to Westminster, well, we want you to come to Westminster when you can participate and enjoy all of the amenities and all of the activities that we have available to you. Planning ahead enables you to give your family a wonderful gift. Your family, your kids will have the peace of mind of knowing that you have a plan for the future, and this is your decision that you've made for yourself. We offer a wide variety of apartment options. We have everything from small studios to 2 bedrooms with a den. All apartments come with fully functioning kitchens, secured resident parking, and housekeeping services, among many, many other things. Your monthly service fee is very all-inclusive. You're just writing 1 check a month to Westminster. That's it. We typically run very full. We're currently 95% occupied in independent living, but we do have a limited number of right-sized 1-bedroom apartments on the open market, and they're available now. I've included some starting pricing for you here. The entrance fee for right-sized apartments start at about $212,000 for a 1-bedroom, and the monthly fee is about $4,000 a month for single occupancy. We like to tell folks that a larger apartment is not always better. With our right-sized apartments, you have less to take care of, and you're not paying for space that you don't need. I would like to introduce you to Kathy. She is a current Westminster resident, and Kathy says, I was in a larger unit at Westminster, but felt like I had a lot of wasted space. Here, a good portion of your day is spent out and about, so I just didn't need it. I have a great view of downtown, and I am loving the apartment. So if you would like to learn more about Westminster, I would encourage you to give us a call and to schedule either an in-person visit or a virtual visit. We have a very large video library, and our team has the ability to send you available floor plans, available virtual tours, things of that nature. And of course, when you're ready, we're there to help guide you through the application process and plan your move to Westminster. We have some questions. Yeah, hi.
We have a relatively large upfront investment in an apartment. Let's say you move in and about a year later, you decide you really don't like it. It's not for you. You get your money back.
With our one,
Can you repeat the question?
oh, sure. He was asking if, we do have a one-time entrance fee that is typically a larger sum. And if they moved into Westminster and just didn't like it, what the options for a refund would be. And that ties directly to the 100% satisfaction guarantee that says during the first full year of residency, if this is just, it's not working out for you, we will refund you your entire entrance fee back.
For 2 years, you would not.
No, that's not the case. We have a couple of different contract types that we offer for the one-time entrance fee. The most popular is our 90% return of capital plan. That says for the life of the contract, if for any reason, you want to cancel your contract and leave, or if you pass away, 90% of your entrance fee will be returned to you or to your estate. So that's what, past that 1 year, it's 90% is available for the life of the contract.
Is that? Go ahead, I'll take up the minute.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well,
So
You
is
go.
say, for that particular contract, is there more upfront cost?
Yes.
Okay.
The more, so the question was about, the larger contract, or the 90% return, if that's a larger cost, and yes. It is, the most capital, that you would give to Westminster, but you have a larger return. We do have a standard entrance fee, which is the least amount of capital required to secure your residency, but there's no return on that investment after you've lived at Westminster for a little over 4 years.
So how high is that higher fee?
How high is the higher fee? So our fees are based on square footage.
Mhm.
So everything from studios to 2-bedroom den apartments. They start at about 212,000, right? We saw that. And they go to, I mean, some of our larger apartments for a 90% return, you're looking at about 1.5 million for some units. Mhm. Yeah, but that's like 1,800 square feet, very large apartments.
What about for the small apartment? If you were in the small apartment, what would the contract be to get into the 90% return?
We have so many floor plans available. I'm happy to talk after this and kind of provide you with some pricing and if you're interested. Yeah, we just have so many offerings.
I'm just having fun putting all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. Watch me.
Yeah.
Oh. So, long time friend, it's been there quite a while. Food in his wife, and she died. They, not sure exactly when, Sarah Blondie, they went from the regular, apartment, I guess,
Mhm.
to greater care,
Mhm.
and that's in my basement. We're not going to stay in a different building. But is that much greater amount per year?
No, so at a life plan community, your monthly service fee essentially follows you for the rest of your life. So I mentioned earlier that when you need a higher level of care, you're able to seamlessly move to that higher level of care with very little additional expense. The only cost difference between between living in independent living, right? And then moving to any of the higher levels of care is a monthly meal charge. Approximately about $425 a month is the difference between living in independent living and any of the higher levels of care. And that's really the beauty. That's the benefit. You see that significant savings once you get to the higher levels of care.
I'm gonna support your cause. The thing that I mentioned earlier has gone from a very large situation to now she's on, I believe, the medical floor. And it's very comfortable, and I think she's happier with that than she was in her other space. So, that I've seen that smooth transition work.
Yes.
A couple of questions. How many residents do you currently have? But then I'm really interested in this plan ahead part.
Oh, okay. So, all told, we probably have about 650 residents. That's all 4 levels of care.
Planning ahead, because I've heard of friends who, because I guess you have a waiting list, right?
We do, yes.
Yeah, that you put in your reservation and then they didn't want to go when their name came up. Is there some time that you can be on the list and then if you're not quite ready, you're recycled on the list or some variation of that?
So we do have an active ready list. It's a $10,000 deposit. It puts you in queue by date on our list. And you do have 3 refusals that are baked into that agreement. So if for some reason, maybe you just aren't quite ready, you could refuse. At the after that 3rd refusal, we would likely have a bigger conversation about timing, about what your wants and needs are. But you would go to the bottom of the list and work your way back up. I want to clarify though, that although we do have a waiting list, we have some inventory, the right sized apartments that are available now. Our waiting list, I always tell folks kind of the larger the apartment, the longer the wait. Anybody else?
Yeah, I had a question.
Sure, okay.
Oh, is that all right? Two questions. Early on, you said if of course, in your home, if you're in your home, you would have to pay for your own in-home care.
Mhm.
So if you're in an independent living, you don't have to pay for in-home care, wouldn't you? That was the implication.
So at Westminster, should you need in-home care, we're set up in that you would transition to a higher level of care where it's all included. Yes, ma'am.
How many levels are there?
We have independent living and that's where you start. We have an assisted living level of care, skilled nursing that offers both short-term and long-term support to folks, and then memory support, so 4 levels.
Okay, my last question I had was you mentioned some tax advantages.
Yes.
Would you go over those a little more slowly?
Sure. So there are possible tax advantages with a life plan community. Your one-time entrance fee and your monthly service fee, because you're essentially prepaying for assisted living, for skilled nursing, those can be written off as a prepaid medical expense.
Is that a one-time write-up?
For the one-time entrance fee, yes. On the monthly, you can do that every year. You do have to itemize, yes.
Okay.
We provide a standard tax letter every tax season that outlines, what you're able to itemize and deduct.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
Figure for a single person.
Mhm.
Couple, double that, or?
No, it's not double. We do have a second person fee. That's a very good question. So for the monthly fee, right, so it's about $4,000 a month. The second person fee for 2024 is $1,800 a month. So you're looking at about $5,800 for two people in a right-sized apartment.
Good question. What is the square footage of right side?
Approximately between about 500 to 700 square feet.
So it's basically the smallest one bedroom.
Definitely not the smallest. We have studios, but yes, it's a true one bedroom.
And the other is, I'm just trying to get this 90% lifetime deal back.
Sure.
In my opinion. If you move in, you're in independent living, you go through whatever process. Years later, you pass away, your heirs get 90% of your original entrance fee. That just, basically, if you go on that plan, at some point, whether you move out or whether you get moved out, it's 90%.
You're always getting 90% back. Yeah, we call it an estate preservation plan.
The concept of assisted living, for those of you who hadn't read all the right books, started in the early 80s. Being mortal, being that covers all that. But what am I getting if I have assisted living? Do I have my private room? Do I have one medical assistant for every 42 residents? What added benefit of looking after me do you get with assisted living?
Good question. So with assisted living, at that point, we're taking care of all of your medications. We're managing all meds. We're preparing 3 meals, multiple snacks a day for you. In assisted living, you can require assistance with up to 2 activities of daily living each day, ADL. So that's, help dressing, help with like standby assist for a shower. If there was a need for, like meal setup, meal prep, like helping feed. If you have more than 2 activities of daily living, that would be more of a skilled nursing
Sure.
need. But that's essentially what we offer in assisted living.
That's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
Can I say something else?
Yes, sir.
Maybe, Sue may let me here. There is, this may not be the rule, but I've always heard it. Do you have to be ambulatory, thank you, sir, to be accepted?
I get that question a lot too. A lot of folks come with me like, do we have to walk? Do we have to be able to walk into Westminster? Not necessarily. You just have to be independent in your transfer. So I mean, if you walk or you ambulate with a walker or a cane or even a wheelchair, if you're able to independently transfer yourself, from a chair to the bed, to the toilet, if you're able to independently do that, you can still qualify for independent living.
Great. That's the big rumor in the community.
I know, I hear that one a lot. Yeah.
And I've worked with some CCD people to get them able to walk in.
Mhm.
So we didn't know we had options, so that.
Yeah,
So I get it.
yeah, as long as you're independently able to take care of yourself, that's independent living.
And the other thing that I think is flexible with another person I work with is that you allow, if they need assistance, they can bring in their private assistants.
You sure can.
And
Yep.
that's made a big difference.
Yes.
And one of the third thing is what we say to Capital City Village, people that are interested, don't wait too long. It's the same thing you say, because you want to get to know the people in the village
Yeah.
and get the assistance. We've had a person call us from the ambulance and say, I just broke my hip, can I join? And, it was a bad prognosis,
Yeah.
so we couldn't accept that person.
There is such a thing as waiting too long to
Right.
come to Westminster, absolutely.
And planning, we talk about planning,
Yep.
so that's great.
Are you saying they wouldn't accept paying the bond?
I am not saying that at all. If you come for an exception, I can tell you.
Okay, you're okay.
I won't say for a week.
Yes, sir.
Is your entrance fee age related?
It's all based on square footage.
Yeah, but I think that last comment made that answered my question, but the entrance fee is that solely based on the unit, not the number of people?
So that second person fee, there would be an additional second person fee added on to that single occupancy to make it a double.
That's the month.
There's,
the entrance fee.
yes, there's a second person fee for the entrance fee as well.
So also 50% range?
It's $18,000 for 2024. So it's a heck of a deal for a couple,
So regardless of the entrance fee, it's 18,000.
for the second person.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Campbell.
So Westminster is probably one of the top three, and often I would guess one of the line about with Corinthia and Longhorn Village. How would you compare yourself to the other two?
That's a really good question. So, when I talk about the difference between the top three life plan communities, because those are the top three, Westminster, Longhorn, and Corinthia. I talk about location, because we are in very different locations in the city. We have a very central location, very close to like a kind of a medical hub, very close to the university, activities, all of that is there. I also tell folks that, our contracts are a little different. Westminster offers quite a bit more flexibility in terms of that 90% and that standard entrance fee that I mentioned, giving you options of how you want to, where you want to put your money. I know that Corinthia and Longhorn just have that 90% return option.
And do residents actually pay you, do they give you a check every month, or do you draft their account?
Either, we can do both. Some just like to write an old-fashioned check and drop it in the payment box each month. Others have it set up to automatically debit from a checking or a savings account. We also take credit. Some folks like to put it on a credit card and earn points that way.
If you're an independent living and you're no longer trying, you need to get to a doctor. That provided or?
We do. We offer transportation services. We take folks to and from medical appointments. We also have scheduled transportation, like to Central Market, to the drugstore throughout the week. All of that is scheduled. And then we also take folks, to and from the symphony, to and from the ballet. I mean, there's a lot of extracurriculars that we also provide transportation for. That's all included.
David, when you move in, we will all come and party in your apartment.
Is there a fee for parties in that?
A fee for parking.
I understand that you have just built a new building. Are you at the property now, or is it plan to buy the property?
That's a really good question. So we've kind of mapped out every square inch that we have on our little 9-acre plot. We have a project, starting later this year that will add more amenity spaces, more common spaces to our campus. No additional apartments yet, but that's kind of our next phase of expansion.
And where would that be?
On campus. Kind of building up a little bit up now. Any other questions? I hope this was helpful for you. I have some information here on the table, brochure, also a really great example of all of the amenities and services that we provide on a monthly basis. This is the February calendar. I've included my card here and also a little welcome card. If you want me to reach out and provide more information, or perhaps you're ready to schedule your appointment, all those forms are here.
If there's anybody. Is there anybody online who'd like to ask a question on Zoom?
Sure.
Yeah, I have one question. I know that the follow Casey is here as a move-in specialist. You want to tell us what a move-in coordinator does, Katie?
I can.
Thank you.
That being said, the Warren.
Maybe it's new to our team, yeah.
Yes.
The girl that has been doing the movement coordinating,
You mind moving up where we can?
Oh,
so
absolutely.
people can see?
Of course. Yeah, Tessa has been our move-in coordinator for the last 4 years, and then I'm just coming in to, basically, so she can focus on more specific work, and that we have the time and the space to, give more attention and time to the residents, basically. Yeah, so they added me on. Katie takes kind of the resident by the hand. Once we have done the assessment, once you're approved for residency, Katie will do a complete walkthrough of the apartment with the resident to identify things that need to be changed. You know, do we need new carpet? Do we need new paint? Typically, we reserve those choices for the resident that's moving in. That way they can choose, you know, their color palette, that sort of thing. Katie also helps coordinate move-ins. So she'll work with your movers to, you know, coordinate a day and a time and a route to use to get everything up to your apartment. But she's kind of, she's our selections coordinator. So you would choose, you know, like I said, that paint, flooring, countertops with her, and then she would also help you move in.
I've seen along with that extensive remodeling of people moving in. How extensive does it go, and does the person moving in pay for all that, or do you all pay for that?
Westminster absorbs a lot of that cost. It's our building, it's our responsibility to take care of it. So we, you know, we have standard options for carpet that will always offer paint options. You know, some residents like to customize their apartment, right? They want to add, a built-in bookshelf, or, maybe they want, engineered hardwood instead of carpet. We can source the work, we'll provide it for you, you'll just pay that extra increase.
And what about pets?
Very pet friendly, small dogs, cats, we have a couple of birds. But it's a one-time fee for your pet, nothing ongoing. Okay.
I'm surprised Mark hadn't asked this, but the Castle City Village, get back, for all.
We'll have to talk about it after this presentation, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
What's the age of the youngest option there, and the oldest person, if you have in independent?
In independent, okay, so, talking about, briefly the qualifications for residency, we do consider age. 62 or older can apply to Westminster. Our youngest resident, I think she's 64. We have a lot of folks, late 60s or early 70s that have moved in with this new expansion that we built. And the oldest in independent living, I think 103, 104. Yep. With the services and amenities that we offer, we truly think like it allows people to live better, longer lives when you're in an environment like that.
Oh, how's your accommodation for people with certain disabilities, visual, hearing, mobility?
We have a ton of support groups that are available for residents to access if they choose to. I mean, we provide, you know, large print books and resources for folks to use. And all of that is available to anyone. Pretty standard in our industry, providing, you know, large print and you know, audio files that they can listen to later, things like that. Anything else?
Okay, well, Jordan and Katie, thank you so much for coming.
My
today.
pleasure.
We've really gotten a lot out of it. It was a great presentation. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, can I say, I'll say one more thing?
Sure.
Excuse me, yes. You can muzzle me later. You can muzzle me later. And as everybody knows, but these two young ladies, we'll have our annual meeting at Tarrytown Methodist at 12 noon this Monday. It's covered dish. Bring a dish. If you don't have a dish, come anyway. Danny Britt is going to play for our lunch, who's kind of like Willie Nelson. He's not known as well, but he's really good. Lindsay and I heard him at Westminster.
I was gonna say he plays at Westminster
Yeah.
very often.
And he kept everybody awake. He was on the medical board. Said, you all wake up or I'm gonna stay longer, you know, he's really good. And so, and then we'll have kind of the state of the union address of how we're doing and so on and so forth. We also will have some vendors there, not residential vendors, but people that you might be interested in working with. So that's, y'all are invited if you'd like to come.
Great, thank you.
It'll be a fairly big group. It's Chotown United Methodist, the Community Hall, Fellowship Hall on the north side.
On Monday.
Yeah, Monday. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Marty. Nice to meet you, Marty.
Thank you, Jordan.
I was doing COVID now.
How are we doing with COVID now? Just as well as everybody else is doing. We're fine.
Folks have a large, terrible, life problem, too,
Mhm.
and he's just,
I think that's a telltale that you were able to have lunch with him, you know, at Westminster. That speaks a lot of how COVID is at Westminster.
yeah, had lunch with him before, he tried to, like, 12 years ago, he tried to con me into coming in with it.
Didn't work. Thank you, guys. Let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks a lot.